Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are about to go on an absolutely incredible journey, following a simple, everyday vegetable. We're going to track it all the way from a chef's cutting board right down into the microscopic world of your own cellular health. So whether you're a hardcore food enthusiast or, just someone looking to optimize your well-being, the science we're unpacking today, it's going to completely change how you look at your next meal. Okay, let's dive right into this and lay out our roadmap. First up, we'll look at the veggie deficit, then explore some gut microbiome magic. After that, we're covering the power of fermentation, diving into the science of texture, and finally, we'll wrap up with some really practical veggie hacks you can use today.
So, part 1, the veggie deficit, a shocking reality check.
Now, according to a recent national health survey from Health and Wellbeing Queensland, we are facing a stark reality. A staggering 94% of adults are falling short of their recommended daily vegetable intake. Let that sink in. That means only 6% of us are actually hitting the mark. And for kids, it's even higher. 96% are missing out. This isn't just a minor slip-up. This is a massive nutritional gap. And honestly, it's a foundation-level issue for both our physical and mental well-being. A big part of the problem is simply not knowing what the target actually looks like. So what exactly is a serving? Well, it's just 75 grams of uncooked vegetables, or 1 cup of raw salad greens. A great rule of thumb here, it's roughly what you can scoop up in one hand. That's it. Hitting this small, really simple target a few times a day is absolutely crucial because it naturally supports healthy digestion, boosts your brain health, and gives you the fiber you need to keep those blood sugar levels nice and stable. Moving right along to part 2, gut microbiome magic, inside the ecosystem. Now, what's really interesting about this is how researchers recently tested all of this in a clinical setting. A fascinating study published in Frontiers in Nutrition took 55 volunteers and split them into 3 distinct groups. They had a control group of healthy folks, a constipation group dealing with slow bowel transit, and an antibiotics group who'd recently finished a course of antibiotics. The researchers really just wanted to track exactly how these very different digestive environments would respond to 3 weeks of eating more veggies. And the crucial takeaway here is how this impacted their metabolic health. They measured something called phase angle, or PHA. Think of phase angle as a super powerful indicator of cellular health. It basically reflects the integrity of your cell membranes and your cellular hydration. The amazing thing they found? Upping that vegetable intake led to a statistically significant improvement in phase angle across the entire cohort. It didn't matter if you were perfectly healthy, recovering from antibiotics, or dealing with a sluggish gut. Eating more veggies measurably leveled up your cells. Which brings us to part 3, the power of fermentation, waking up the microbiome. During the study, participants ate both standard fresh vegetables, things like carrots and kohlrabi, and their fermented counterparts. We're talking kimchi and unpasteurized fermented carrots and kohlrabi. And guys, this contrast is vital. See, while fresh veggies give you that much-needed fiber, spontaneously fermented vegetables, they act like live delivery vehicles. Because they are unpasteurized, they are absolutely loaded with lactic acid bacteria. You are literally introducing massive, living biodiversity straight into your gut ecosystem. And the results? After adding those fermented veggies, we see huge spikes in beneficial bacteria like lactic acid bacteria and bacillus. But the real star of the show, the true micro-narrative here, is the spike in a bacteria called anaristipes. When you eat, say, a fork full of kimchi, the anaristipes bacteria essentially wake up. Through this cool process called cross-feeding, they take the lactate from the fermented food and use it to produce butyrate. And butyrate is a crucial short-chain fatty acid. It's an absolute game changer for keeping your gut barrier strong and keeping inflammation totally in check. Let's pivot a bit for part 4, the science of texture. Why food tastes good. I absolutely love this quote from the legendary chef Thomas Keller. He says, "The texture of food is just as important as its flavor. A dish that is pleasing to the palate must also be pleasing to the touch." The Park City Culinary Institute actually points out that over 70% of consumers make their food choices based entirely on texture. So it's not just about flavor, right? It's about the psychology of making healthy eating an experience we actually crave. Think about it. When we eat foods with the exact same texture over and over, we experience something called palate fatigue. Your brain literally just loses sensory interest. Our brains integrate texture, taste, and sound all at once. There's even this thing called the McGurk effect, where conflicting sensory inputs can actually change how we perceive a food's taste. Because our brains have this natural hunger for contrast, giving our meals varied textures keeps us from getting bored.
It's exactly why eating a plain bowl of mush feels like a chore, but throwing a crunchy crouton on top completely changes the game. It keeps your brain engaged. So, let's see how this psychology actually builds a professional plate. Culinary experts use this genius technique called bottom-up plating. Step 1, you lay down a soft base, maybe a creamy vegetable puree. Step 2, you add a firm center, like a perfectly seared protein or a roasted veggie. Step 3, you finish the whole shebang with a crunchy garnish or an airy foam. By stacking these textures vertically, every single forkful gives you a creamy, crisp, and crunchy sensory explosion. It guarantees that palate fatigue has absolutely no chance of setting in. And finally, part 5, practical veggie hacks from art to action. The good news? You don't need a Michelin star to pull this off. You just need a few actionable hacks to get yourself out of that 94% deficit. First off, just sneak them in. Blend some spinach or beetroot into your morning smoothie. Grate zucchini right into your pasta sauces. Actually, scratch that, grate it into everything. It adds moisture and fiber without changing the taste at all. For that culinary textural contrast we talked about, pair crunchy raw veggies like snow peas with a super smooth dip. And hey, don't be afraid to just dump extra frozen veggies into your stir fries and curries. Fresh, frozen, or tinned, they all count towards your 5 a day. Eating healthy doesn't have to be some bland, boring chore.
Well, we have covered a massive journey today, from the shocking reality of our vegetable deficit, straight down into the cellular benefits of phase angle and butyrate, all the way to the culinary secrets of texture that make it all taste incredible. So as you go to plan your next meal, I want to leave you with one very provocative question. Will your next bite feed just you or the trillions of microbes waiting inside?